Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday, December 4th. And as the world likes to say, can you believe it? We're here in December already. It's true. It all creeps up on you very quickly. And yeah, time seems to be flying by, as they say. But anyway, you know, some people might see, I've been messing around a little bit here and there on YouTube and just trying to kind of figure things out a little bit and kind of thinking about what it is I really want to do, what it is I really want to say, and, you know, utilize this last platform that I have left um, to contribute whatever I can to this world. So, to kind of go back a little bit, explain, you know, I think my whole life I've kind of felt like I knew something was not right with this world, right? I've kind of always felt like an outsider looking in, to quote lyrics I have, like, looking into a world in which I don't belong, and that's fine. Um, and the reason for this feeling is that I've always looked at things and questioned them since I can remember. I never wanted to take whatever the world gave me and accept it. Um, I always felt that there was a need to question everyone and everything and to deeply evaluate, how life is being lived and how I feel I should live my life. So, throughout my entire life, I always, I guess, would be considered someone that went against the grain, you know, challenged authority, challenged thoughts, beliefs, challenged everything. I questioned the entire world, and a lot of people could see that kind of behavior as dangerous. They could see that kind of behavior as, this kid doesn't follow the rules. This kid doesn't respect authority. This kid doesn't, you know, go with the flow of how things are. But again, throughout my entire existence, I just thought to myself, a lot of this can't be right. A lot of this needs to be questioned. A lot of this needs to be deeply analyzed. And by this, I mean life and the way people live it and the way the world is, right? And, you know, for those of you that I guess are really close to me, you've probably known that, I've always been interested in things that are typically beyond the scope of, I guess, you know, a normal person, right? Obviously, I'm a musician. I've always been deeply interested in the universe and philosophy and spirituality and nature and just, kind of searching for that higher purpose and that higher meaning and looking beyond the world and saying there's got to be something more to this what we're seeing, right? And never did that become more apparent than I'd say in the last probably 10 years of my life. um so much has gone on even in the last 5 for this world, right? Just think about it. So much has gone on in the last week. These days everything is just like amping up big time, and we'll get to that more in a second. But you know, just like everybody else, there's so many things that I have gone through in life, right? Ups, downs, to the extreme, right? The happiest times and the worst of times, kind of sometimes even happening simultaneously. But it wasn't until the last few years where I really put my foot down, I guess, in a way, all the years previous to that led to this feeling that, it wasn't just questioning things anymore. It was this world was consuming my entire existence. It was eating away at me. And at the time, I was like, maybe this is a bad thing. Maybe I'm just losing grip on my life. Maybe I just don't really fit into this world. And, you know, as a result of that, I'm suffering, right? But that kind of, that answer didn't sit well with me. In terms of the world, I feel like I have been successful according to many people's, uh, belief of the word success. So I thought to myself, wait a second, what's really going on here? Why am I feeling this way? Why is this all not right? Why is it all not right? So it prompted me to do some really deep searching, some really deep analysis of my own self, a really deep analysis of the world, um, and a really deep analysis of every event that has ever happened to me, um, you know, prior to that moment. And through these last few years, I have made a hardcore shift in life. You know, the first step of that was acknowledging that I'm suffering big time and that I don't want to live that way. So, you know, what am I to do, right? And the only answers I had left at that time was, okay, I need to look at the quote unquote wise men and women of this world and see what they were doing, right? You hear a lot of people preaching these days on how people should live their lives. And, you know, if you look at the result of many of those, we'll call them false preachers, most people that follow them end up destroying themselves as a result because many of these so-called teachers that are walking around this world have no idea what it is they should be teaching. But anyway, we'll leave that alone. So the point is that you know many people will think, oh, material things will make me happy, obtaining wealth will make me happy, status. And again, I kind of was past that. I think for a long time in my life, I never believed in material gain as equating to happiness or success. It actually kind of baffled me growing up how people would think that. And, so I was kind of beyond, I guess you'd call it kind of the kindergarten stages of removing the suffering from my life. Um, but unfortunately, many people are still stuck in that trap and they feel like those are the avenues to um, achieve happiness and peace and freedom in their own life. And I can tell you from personal experience, it's just simply not the case. I promise you that. I wish that you don't try to prove me wrong, but only so much I can do. Um, anyway, so the answers I had left were, turn to Turn to the philosophies of this world, turn to the spiritual practices, um, turn to the people that seem to have make a significant impact on this world. And not only turn to those people and, blindly follow them, but again, really question what it is they're saying and, you know, take a scientific approach to it, prove them wrong. Their hypothesis is that, you know, if you are suffering, then here's the medicine, right? Here's what we suggest you do to remove that suffering. And of course, I said, okay, let's dive in. And there started a very intense journey, um, searching for the truth in my life, trying to understand why I'm suffering, um, trying to understand why the world is suffering, and trying to understand not a way out, but how do we make this easier, right? How do we make daily life easier? And again, many of these wise people, they offer many different solutions. And I think the biggest problem that I saw in my own experience previous to that was, you never practice what people preach. And a lot of times people don't even practice what they preach. So I decided to practice what they preach. And with that, many of the teachings that I followed stress the importance of kind of removing yourself from this world for at least an extended period of time, a limited one at that, if that's what you know you want, or removing yourself from this world forever. All depends on your level, I guess. But anyway, the point of that is that in order to really take a deep dive into yourself and into the world, you kind of have to remove yourself a little bit. You have to look at things from a different angle, a different point of view, right? Um, it's like playing a sport. While you're in the game, you can't really analyze what's going on. You can only analyze things to a certain extent based on your individual experience of the game. But after the game, many teams go and review the tapes, right? They go and look back at everything they did. They go and see the game from a higher point of view, and they are able to break things down and look into, okay, why did this happen? How did we get where we are? Um, and they're able to more easily understand things that they might not have understood at the time, and they're able to, again, look at things from a different perspective. So, with that being said, I went on a hardcore journey, right? I spent a lot of time alone, still doing my job as a husband, father, employee, etc., but spending every free moment of my time reading, learning, understanding, and practicing, and figuring out, what it was that I was going to do, basically, to get myself to a point where I felt like my normal state was peace and happiness and joy and living a life of effortlessness and not worrying about what the next moment's going to bring. I learned to do a lot of things in this process. And if I were to explain these last 3 years in one video, um, it would be a very, very long video because there's just so much to talk about. But, you know, the main points is that in order for me to have gotten to this place that I'm at now, I had to face a lot of darkness, a lot of stuff that, you know, was hanging around in my mind, a lot of stuff that was um, just not wanting to go away, right? Lingering is a good term. Things that are just lingering in your head all the time. And again, through all these spiritual practices that have been prescribed by the wise people, they look to give you some structure, right? To give you some discipline and to teach you that, you know, in order for you to solve a problem, you have to face it head on. But in order to do that, you do need some level of preparation, and that comes with practice. And again, I don't need to preach anything about what I did in particular, but there are many paths out there, and whichever one you choose, choose wisely and be careful who you follow and who you learn from. In my words of warning. But anyway, through those spiritual practices, I was able to start facing a lot of my problems, facing a lot of questions that I had, and learning, you know, so much, learning how many things are just not in my control, learning about the things that are in my control, and learning about the things that, people are kind of missing in their lives, right? And learning how I can incorporate them into mine and see if they work. And a lot of those things just were plain and simple things. Nobody asked me to do any sort of complicated rituals, or no one told me to go to a church or a temple or a mausoleum, or, the Muslims call them mausoleums, mosque. Nobody told me to go to a religious building. Nobody told me to go to a religious person, even, or a spiritual leader or anything. They told me to look inside myself. They told me to see that the simplest things in life are what are going to bring you joy, right? And I think for this world, um, I liked two where I thought, man, many people should probably incorporate this into their daily lives, and one of them being selfless service. Um, selfless service. What does that really mean, right? And when I first started learning about selfless service and trying to understand it, it was a little rocky at first, but now I can see. Now I can really see what they were talking about. So selfless service, I think a lot of our problems in this world all stem from selfishness, if you really think about it, right? We always want, 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 want. I want this. I want that. I need this. I need that. We're always looking at me, 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 right? And sure, rightfully so, right? You're important. You are an important piece of all of this, right? But the problem with that is that, you know, while you should take care of yourself and you should absolutely love yourself and care for yourself, how much do you really need, right? Think about your needs versus your wants. That's a nice starting step. And then realize, wow, maybe I have a lot of wants, very few needs. And think about that. We as humans have very few needs: water, food, clothes, shelter. It's a pretty good start. Love, sure, nice to have. You don't necessarily need it, but it's nice to have. So, what should that just tell you as a genuinely good hearted person? Is that many people have a lot of problems because their basic needs can't be fulfilled, their basic needs can't be met. And when we take a step back to realize, wow, I have a lot more than I really need, and I just have accumulated a bunch of crap that I really wanted, you start to realize the silliness in your error. And it starts to make you think, maybe I should start giving back a little bit. Maybe I should recognize that there's so many people in this world that don't have the basic need of water. They don't have the basic need of food. Many people live homelessly out on the street. Many people can't afford clothes. How could you not want to help, right? How could you not want to help if you put yourself in that person's shoes? Wouldn't you want someone to help you, right? So, selfless service, think about the condition of yourself and then think about the condition of others. Do good at every opportunity. Selfless service is all about doing for others without expecting a reward, without expecting anything. Doing things out of the goodness of your heart, though, because you understand the condition of others. Selfless service is knowing that your basic needs are met and that others are probably not being met. Selfless service is putting yourself out there for the good of others, no matter what. It's taking care of your family, it's taking care of humans, it's taking care of animals, it's taking care of the environment. It's doing things not for your own benefit, in a way. It's doing things for the benefit of others, right? And in turn, the funny thing is that you might not receive a reward or status or, you know, whatever it is you think you're going to get, but you receive the feeling of knowing that, you did something to really help. You did something that wasn't hurtful. You didn't add to the problem. You simply gave somebody your time, your effort, your love, whatever it might be. And you gave that to that person without any issue, without any qualms, without any hesitation. You just look to help, right? Now, that's not to say you should just dive into other people's lives and think, oh, I'm going to help, I'm going to help, I'm going to help. Sometimes the best help is to just not do anything at all, to just leave people alone, let people be, let them be, right? That's one way of just being selfless. Stop trying to impose yourself on people. That's one way. Um, you know, Thinking about others before you think about yourself. Something as simple as letting someone go on the road, or seeing somebody dropped something on the floor and you pick it up and give it to them and walk away. Holding a door for someone without expecting a thank you. Donating extra food, extra clothes, extra money. You know, not going overboard and just buying all this junk so that you can have this status. you know, give it to people, you know? Not telling you to give your whole life away, you know, but just think about what I'm saying. We just our needs are few, our wants are many. That's all I have to say, right? Think about other people before you think about yourself. But of course, that comes with the warning is that, make sure you yourself are prepared to give yourself to other people selflessly because it's a big task and it requires much patience, perseverance and self-control. So please be sure that you're in the right place to help others before you start doing so. So, or at least wait until you're in the right place to help people on a greater scale. Maybe that's a better way of putting it, right? Because you do need to practice selfless service. And it'll eventually get you to a point where you will feel prepared to help um, tackle some greater issues, I guess you could say. But anyway, what goes with that, I think, is gratitude, right? I know it makes me kind of squeamish to even say the word sometimes because it's just been so abused in pop culture. Um, but really, what is gratitude, right? It's not just saying, "Oh, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everything." That's really easy to do, right? I'm grateful. I'm grateful. But are you grateful? Are you truly grateful? That's a question you should maybe ask. Are you grateful? What is there to be grateful for, right? A lot of people in a negative mindset, they may say nothing. "Well, I have nothing to be grateful for. There's nothing to be grateful for in this world." But there is, you know. The fact that you can say there's nothing to be grateful for just shows you that you're alive. So be grateful you're alive. That's a good start. Be grateful that you can say that you have nothing to be grateful for. Be grateful for your life. Then start expanding it out. Be grateful that you have, food. Be grateful you have water. Be grateful you have clothes. Be grateful you have shelter. Be grateful that you have friends, family, etc. Start being grateful for the little things. This is how you start to spiritualize your daily life. Be grateful at every moment. Think about how many people are involved in just making your everyday mundane life even a possibility. Even be grateful for the negative things because deep inside every negative event in your life is a hidden lesson. But you have to find that lesson. You have to find that teaching within it. Be grateful. Honestly, I said those two only just because the others I feel like are a little bit more advanced, at least in my practice. But if you could just start living your life every day, being selfless and being grateful for everything, you're going to see a huge shift in your attitude. You're going to see big changes come into your life where not only are you more at peace, but the people around you will start to be more aware on a deep level of this peace and this love and this selflessness that's being transmitted. We're products of our environment for sure, right? So if you take it upon yourself to start acting in that way, again, you'll start to be the change that you wish to see, and you'll also see that world around you start shifting, start changing. When I think about doing these talks, I there's so much to say inside my head, and then I feel like there's only so much that you can kind of discuss, I guess, and only so many ways you can kind of put it. And words can be really, you know, difficult, I guess, right? You look back when you make these videos and you say, I didn't mean to really say it that way, but I did, and it is what it is. But anyway, my point of all of this, this particular video and any other video I'll probably make in the near future, is that we have to learn how to change, or at least learn how to embrace change and learn how to look at things differently, right? We have to be selfless, we have to be grateful, and we also have to look at each other with a lot more compassion, looking past, all these silly names and concepts. Oh, I'm this, I'm from this country, I'm from this political party, I root for these teams, I live in this town. Who cares? Really? Who cares? All that stuff is imaginary nonsense. Travel the world. There's no borders. We all live on the same planet, right? How do you divide the planet? It's one planet. Start looking at it that way. How do you divide the universe? It's, as far as we know, it's one universe, right? People want to speculate all these wild things, right? Forget it all for now. Look at this. We're all in one scenario here. It's one reality, guys. One. All this crap that we label ourselves with is what has gotten us to this horrendous world we live in, because it's us versus them. It's not just us. There's always a them. I shake my head, and I, I know a lot of people look at me like, is this guy nuts? But I'm not the one that's nuts, everyone. Let me tell you, I'm not the one that's nuts. You know, you want to continue your life looking at people like they're different than you, then all you're going to get is trouble, because everybody's different. Everybody, everything is different. Not one single thing on this earth is the same. Meaning, on the surface, there's variety everywhere, right? But in reality, a lot of that variety is just, again, made up. It's made up. Here's a nice example. When you shine light through a prism, you get all the colors, the rainbow, right? The Roy G. Biv. But what is the light that's shown through the prism? What color is that? White, right? It's one color. Forget the colors, right? It's one color that is shown as many. That's how you have to start looking at the world, right? We're all one. We're all one reality. We all live. We're all alive here. We all share the same planet. We all share the same universe. It's not mine, mine, mine. It's ours. And if we don't start looking at it that way, we're in deep, deep trouble. Actually, let's be honest, we're already in deep, deep, deep trouble. And we need to start getting out of it big time. So start spiritualizing your life. Start looking at things from a higher perspective. I'm not asking you to go out and start believing in God. I'm not asking you to go out and start doing all kinds of strange meditations or yoga practices or prayers or, long journeys. I'm not saying any of that. If that helps you become a better person, then fine, do what you got to do. But We need to just simplify. We need, and by spiritualizing things, I mean, again, looking past this whole individual, right? Looking past this body, looking past your silly little concepts and preconceived notions of what this place is. Stop. Stop. You're not any of the things you think you are. That'll bake a couple people's noodles and they'll probably just say again, this guy's nuts, but I don't care. Because the proof's in the pudding. I've completely shifted my awareness and my perspective on this world. Comes with a lot of stuff, if you will. You know, even though I have a greater peace in my life, living as I do now, also comes with a greater level of astonishment, a greater level of frustration sometimes, right? Much easier to process and deal with, but the frustration comes with, man, when are people going to wake up? When are we going to stop living in this stupidity, right? Just look at the news, man. Look at how far gone people are. I only smile because it just makes you want to cry. It makes you want to really cry. At least it makes me want to cry, right? I'll be honest, I've cried many, many times. Many, many times, not for my own sadness, but for the sadness of this world, how far off people are. They say, I'm better than you. My country's better than yours. My God is better than yours. What kind of insane stupidity is this? Spiritualizing your life is not about just blindly following a faith or blindly following these other doofuses that walk around in the world. It's finding what your truth is. It's realizing that, you know what, maybe my purpose here is to just be a good person and to help people. Maybe our purpose here is that, you know what, there's so much out there and so much that we can do for each other. Let's find that. It's not just about reciting a mantra or a prayer or, reading mythology. It's all nice. It all has its place. But forget it because it's divisive, right? Use your practices only so long as you need them, but then stop. Stop the nonsense. Remember that the real, true spiritual way of living is to just love people, love the earth, love animals, love everybody, love them. That's all anyone wants. Love them and take care of them. That's it. Be selfless. Be grateful. Grateful you even have the opportunity to care for somebody and for yourself. Be kind. Be understanding. Look at your own situations. When you act out upon other people, it's because you're tired, you're frustrated. You're stuck in this system that's designed to make you feel that way. I get it. Step outside. Step out. Step out. Step out. Step out. Live differently than what people are telling you. Look at the simple things in life. Remember, we're all in the same boat here. We're all in the same boat. Why make it harder? Why make it harder for other people? Why make it harder for yourself? Why get involved in all the petty nonsense that's happening in this world? Just why? Ask yourself why. What does it do for you? Does it give you anything? Question, question things. Spiritualizing life, right? I didn't even want to use that as my title because it just kind of, turns people off. It almost just, again, it, it pigeonholes me into saying certain things, I guess, when you think about it. But really, again, what I really mean is just be good, do good, right? Despite what people do to you, let it go, forget it. Hanging on to negativity hurts you and it hurts everybody around you. Be positive, give, be selfless. Think about other people before yourself. Think about how many people are struggling. You know, really look into it. Really look into it. That's all I have to say, I guess. It's hard to sometimes, again, put all the things you learned into one single talk or concept or whatever. But there's just so much to this that I wish I could share, just like all in one shot, in a way. But, you know, start small, guys. Start small. Start making little changes in your life. Remove yourself from this chaos of the world for now. Fix what's in here, right? And then start doing good in this world. It's a good way of putting it, I guess, to wrap it up. Anyway, enough of my rant for today. I'll be ranting plenty more down the road. And if you so choose to watch, great. And if you don't, you'd never know I said this. Anyway, I love everyone. I really do. And I just, I pray and hope and wish for a world that finds their peace and finds that spark of oneness in all of us, whatever you want to call it. Just looking at, hey, the human condition. People need to introspect a little bit. People need to look inside. We got to stop paying attention to the external. And if everyone were to focus on the internal, I think we'd see a lot of change. But who am I, right? I'm just another guy. What do I know? What do I know? Anyway, talk to you soon. Peace.